Hi friends, it's Sue at Miller's Laboratory. Thank you for joining me. I am so sorry that I didn't have a video last week. Couple different reasons. One was that I'm just kind of burnt out from that last journal that I did, that really huge one. It's kind of sapped the life out of me, and I also realized that the summer is really sneaking past, and so I did a lot of summer stuff in the last couple of weeks, outdoor stuff, had a lot of fun, and we all have to do that, right? So I thought I would surprise you and have 2 books done tonight. Unfortunately, don't get too excited. This one is not done. There was a grave error made today, although I fixed it. And I'm going to share that with you real quick, just like a sneak peek of this book. And then we'll flip through this one, which is all done. So let me just set it aside for a second here. So I've marked my page here where I made the boo-boo, and I'll just show you what I did. So I wanted to do a little window peephole page, and so we're here. So I cut this pretty frame out. I thought, well, I walked through it with you guys how to do it if your image is already in the book and you need to line your frame up with the image. But if you start with putting your frame in and cutting your hole, then you can just put any image behind it, and it's really easy, and that's what I was going to do. So I glued this frame onto the page, and I slipped my cutting mat underneath there, and I cut out the hole. Ta-da! Nice and neat. And I turned the page, and I had cut a hole in 2 pages. So I had cut a hole in this one and this one. This was the one I was just going to have the image on. So the easy fix would be I would just glue my image on there anyway, and then glue something on the other side, and no one would be the wiser, right? But no, I had to say, oh, this is an opportunity to do something really cool. And so what I have here is almost like a little tunnel. So you look through and you can see the image there, but when you open, there's another frame over here that kind of frames the little gate on this image. And then you still can see your dragonfly and butterfly, but we go through another frame to get there. So it just took a lot of fussing and fiddling to get everything the right size, but we got it done, and that's just a little sneak peek of the green book. This will be the next one that is completed, so stay tuned for that. Let's flip through this guy now. He kind of turned into a monster too, kind of a big guy, pretty fat. That means it's full of good things. So I've just tied some more of this pretty taupe color lace around it. And this is the grungiest of all of the books that I'm working on in this series. It's a school reader, and it has a grungy sort of a cover and a very grungy spine. It had a leather spine. If you remember back to the beginning, I glued my muslin to that, and it's nice and sturdy from that fabric. So I think it will hold together. Whoever gets this book, though, if you wanted to put fabric or lace glued over the spine, that would reinforce it a little bit more, and it might look a little bit prettier if that's the look you're looking for. So I'll let you decide. All right. On the inside here, I've left this just as it was. Got a pocket here with our bookmark and also a little tag in there. Everything is a bit humid here today. It's cooler, but everything is humid, so stuff might stick a little bit. I always go through the books before I ship them and make sure nothing is glued closed that shouldn't be. Just a nice pretty journal card in there. I'm not going to take everything out of the pockets. This is our hanging journal spot here, which I widened a little bit, and then we have our fold down journaling space there. This one I have these really cool old journals, I guess, from a lodge, and this is really old, 1898. So I didn't want to cut any of it off, so I just cut it in half and then kind of offset it, so you still get the whole page this way. Nice spot to write there. And there is our little notebook made from a page from an art book. Here's our little mini notebook sort of stitched in with some pages to write. It's got that little butterfly shaped hole in it, which was cute. Little journal tags or journal card tucked in there. Oop. And then here I've just glued this edge of this flower so that becomes a corner tuck, and I just tucked an old piece of ephemera in there. There was a time when I ordered a big box of ephemera from a vendor on Etsy, and it came from Canada, and most of that stuff is gone now, and I don't think that I can order from them now with the, I'll have to check that out, but I think the shipping would just be outrageous. Little journal spot there. Here I just wrapped this sort of pretty little strip image around the edge and made a tiny little pocket. And this is just an accordion. It's just a label, but I just added all this paper to it so that you can write a lot of things on the little space there. Pretty tag here in this vellum pocket. Just folds so there's a little extra space. And this opens up, and there's writing space that comes down here. You probably remember when we did that. I think I did that on camera when I originally made that little feature. Journal card here. A tag here. This opens up again, nice writing space there. We have a flip here, and here a pocket. And this was just a fun thing. I bought this book at a used book sale, and it was a library book, and it still had the card in it. So I just took an image from the book and glued it onto the card. And I thought it made a really cute little tag. There's a belly band. Wow, I lost the word there for a second. And just journal spot or tag that's tucked in there. The other side of those, and here's those tags all in a row on the edge of the paper. We also did that before, I think. This is like a little double belly band. It was just a really tiny little pocket at the bottom, and so I just added that strip across there. And I love this card. I love the holes from the paper in there. That's my favorite thing. I like a little bit of junkiness to my junk journals. Okay. Pretty little image of the bird, and you could write whatever you wanted on that little banner. And then here is a little tuck made from the flap of that envelope. This was dust jacket from a book that I picked up. I thought it was so pretty, so I made it into a little envelope here. Inside I've just got this little piece of paper with a little monogram on it and a picture of a lady stapled on, little journaling. And then this envelope is not glued closed, so you can open it up and you can journal all on the inside of it too. And then close it back up. Put whatever you want in there. And then the little tag holds it closed. The whole thing stays closed. Pretty little flip with the vellum. And here's a little top tuck, the journal card. Just a tiny little flip here with a little bit of writing space here. You could probably write there too on that if you use a dark pen. Here I did glue this lace down on this side, so that's not a pocket, just a little top tuck here though. And that's one of our little open up journal spots that we made together. This spread is kind of crazy with all the orange, but I liked this orange flower and I put this vellum on here. And this is something that I did some mark making on white paper and then I scanned it and then I can print it on whatever I like. And so I just tore out these orange tissue paper and pink and tan circles to put down here to kind of go with that. And then this tag, I picked up this book just recently at an antique store. It's a really beautiful book, really thick pages. It's a poetry book. I think Riley is the poet. And I have gotten these before, but I've never seen one where all the pictures were in orange. And so that kind of went with the flower here, so I just went with that whole orange theme for that spread. Just some nice plain paper here you can write on. And we open up here and we've got like a double pocket that goes across both pages, and then just a tag in each one of these, and the tags go together. So I thought those were cool. Not sure what the calendar wheel is for. I think it's something to do with the railroad or something, but I'm not really sure. Anybody knows, you can tell me. Oh, I got some butterflies there with no antennae. Let's put those on real quick. Oopsie. Can't find their way without their antennae. Okay. All right. Pretty spread again here from an art book. This page was just a white page, and I just glued a couple of strips of this elementary school writing paper on there just to make it a little easier to write on. Another of those little journal spots. Here we have some little double flip, little flowers, and you can write on the back of those. And then this opens up and we have a pretty journal card in here. That's a digital collage that I did. It's a lot of fun to do that. I have this really antiquated software that I use, but it works for me. Some vintage wallpaper here, and I don't know if that'll show on camera, but it's kind of a pearly, it's really pretty, so pretty. And then in here, just a little pull out. This is a contents page from a book, and I just thought it was cool. You could write on it or whatever. Here we have a little window frame pocket. Tag inside, just show you. Got Pretty Lady on it. And here's another horizontal belly band, journal spot inside. See, now I said I wasn't going to take these things out, but some of them I will. So, some of the summer things that I have been doing is I went to an outdoor concert at Frederick Meyer Gardens. I can't remember if I told you guys that already. We saw oh my gosh, the blues guy. I'm drawing a blank. Buddy Guy. He's like 90 years old. And my husband and I saw him a long time ago. And we've also been to his place in Chicago. Not pretty. It was an amazing concert. It was so good. It was kicking it, man. It was great. And then We have a band shell in our neighboring town here, and they have, the Arts Council has concerts, free concerts throughout the summer, so I went to one of those. I've been to a couple of those this year. We have a really beautiful lavender farm just north of us, and we went up to see that because all the lavender's blooming. See how I cut the birds out there? That's cute. I really like to do that because it adds to what's underneath. And then we also went, my daughter and my son's girlfriend and I went to visit a sunflower farm, sunflower fields that are near us. And we went to the beach and swam. And for those of you not from Michigan, we were swimming in Lake Michigan, which is cooler. But I grew up doing that, so no big deal. And oh my gosh, it was so fun. It's just kind of like something that you know, it gets away from you as you get older and you don't go, but it was so fun. And then we just stayed and watched the sunset, so we're planning to do that a couple more times yet this summer. Here we have our little baby tags, and this one just has two pictures or two flip-ups on that pretty picture with that. Wouldn't you like to have that garden gate? Beautiful. So that one wants to stick a little bit, but pretty echinacea in there. Journal tag, journal card. And then here is this is from that same library book, and it was the date due where you stamp it. So see, this book was checked out in 1968, 1973, so it's pretty old. But I just cut that part of the page right out and made another little journal spot. Birdie there. And in here, did kind of something similar that you've seen in the other books. I have these two images of like a ticket. These were to ride this balloon, I think. And then each one is a tuck. So I put a couple of pretty tags in there. And then here is a side tuck. That one I added the label to make it a little tighter because it wanted to fall out, and now it's nice and snug. It's very secure. Just a pretty journal spot here with the birds. Love that. And here's our split page. And this one is belly bands. And you can tuck smaller things in one or two, and then I have these really big tags in the whole thing. These were from a bird book, and you can see they go together also. They're from the same image, these cranes. And then I just did some collage and stuff on there. Stuck it in tea to darken it a little bit. Love those cranes. The sandhill cranes are so fun to see. We get those around here, and they're really cool. And here we have two pockets, and these are just kind of matching again. Just used the image of the egg and split it and made it into two journal spots. Oh, put that back in later. Got left behind. Just a pretty tag here and another piece of ephemera. I think it's from London. It's kind of cool. This beautiful old journal page. And then here we have a little envelope flip. Yeah, there's a journal spot in here. And that's just another digital collage that I put together. I've been doing those and then I wasn't even saving them. You know, I was making them specifically for a book. And so now I do have a folder for them because they are kind of pretty. I don't know if I'll ever use them for anything, but maybe someday. If you do the work, you may as well hang on to it. Just takes up computer space, and that's nothing. This one's just a teeny weeny little card. This is from a Robert Burns book, illustrated, real pretty book that I have. And then this is just coffee dyed tracing paper, and that all opens up. So you could write on that whole thing if you wanted to, and then it just works like a little pocket here when you fold it back up. And then here I have journal card, and then this is just a couple of pieces of book page that are stapled together for writing, and added the pretty bird up in the corner there. I like how that looks with the layering. I think that's pretty. Another different wallpaper here, and just opens up to reveal writing space. And here I have a little hanging folded journal card that's just clipped over the top of this page. I'm not going to take it off. Vintage postcard here that flips out. And that's the end. And the back is all grungy, just as I found it. It's got my label and my signature there. So if you are watching the video, then the book has been put into my Etsy shop. So if you're interested, go take a look. They have been going fast. I'm sorry. I wish I could make books faster. I got to figure out a way to do that. I told my husband he needs to start making journals with me. He laughed. But anyway, thanks you guys. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye.